Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to another edition of Crimes of the Week.
Zachary Ty Bryant, an actor best known for his role in the 90s sitcom Home Improvement, was arrested in Oregon on Friday night after authorities say he attacked his girlfriend. Officers from the EUGENE Police Department were called to an apartment in the north of the city after reports of an assault. Bryant had reportedly attempted to strangle his girlfriend during an argument, taking her phone away when she attempted to call 911. The victim was able to escape to a neighboring unit during the assault where she waited for police to arrive. Bryant was found sitting outside at the scene and was taken to Lane County Jail just after 1 a.m. on Saturday.
The religiously motivated murder of a school teacher in a Paris suburb this week has led to multiple arrests, as well as the death of the prime suspect. Investigators say that on Friday, 47-year-old Samuel Paty was followed home by an 18-year-old Chechen immigrant who attacked him with a knife before beheading him. The attacker was killed at the scene by police. According to French media, Paty had shown his students cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad earlier this month as a part of a civics lesson in his middle school history class. After the lesson, he had reportedly become the target of an angry social media campaign and began to receive threats. More than a dozen people have been taken into police custody since the murder, including several family members of the killer. A father at the school, who had posted several videos to social media about Paty leading up to the attack, was also arrested.
The Lake County Sheriff's Department says they are investigating the killings of two teenagers in a house near Griffith, Indiana. The victims have been identified as 17-year-old Max Kroll and 18-year-old Elijah Robinson, friends who reportedly shared the residence. The homicides reportedly took place early Friday morning, sometime between 3 and 7 a.m., and were discovered when the girlfriend of one of the victims went to the home after she was unable to reach her boyfriend by phone. Officers were dispatched to the scene just before noon when the woman called 911. So far, no details about the cause of the deaths have been released, nor any information about what may have motivated the crime.
This week, the Department of Justice announced a 39-count indictment against Texas billionaire Robert Brockman, the CEO of Ohio-based software company Reynolds & Reynolds Co. The executive is charged with orchestrating a $2 billion tax fraud scheme involving tax evasion, wire fraud, money laundering, and other offenses. The case is said to be the largest ever brought against an American. DOJ officials said at a news conference that Brockman hid capital gains income over 20 years through numerous offshore entities in Bermuda and Nevis, as well as secret bank accounts in Switzerland. According to investigators, Brockman used encrypted emails to carry out the fraud, also ordering evidence to be manipulated or destroyed. The emails reportedly had code names such as Permit, Snapper, Redfish, and Steelhead. It was also announced that Robert F. Smith, the CEO of Vista Equity Partners, would be cooperating in the investigation, as well as paying $139 million in his own tax probe. His equity firm has been accused of aiding in the tax scheme. Smith made headlines last year when he promised to wipe out the student loan debt of an entire graduating class at Morehouse University, a historically black all-male college. Brockman has pleaded not guilty on all counts and was released on a $1 million bond on Thursday.
This week, it was announced that Kirk Duncan, a Michigan man who pled guilty to wildlife crimes in the state's Upper Peninsula, will serve jail time and permanently lose his hunting license. Duncan had been charged with numerous wildlife crimes by the Department of Natural Resources, including the illegal killing of 18 gray wolves and 3 bald eagles. Both animals are protected under Michigan and federal laws. As part of his plea deal, Duncan will serve 90 days in jail and will be prohibited from helping anyone in trapping or hunting activities, a ban that extends to hunting in 47 other states. He is also on the hook for more than $36,000 in illegal hunting fines and court fees.
A Gates-Chili Central School District bus driver is facing multiple charges after a bizarre and dangerous incident last week involving drunk driving and an unsanctioned fast food stop. On Friday morning, 29-year-old LaShonda Griffin reportedly drove her bus with a blood alcohol content over New York's legal limit. She also stopped at a local McDonald's along her route to pick up breakfast, while 6 students were in the vehicle. Police say they found Griffin passed out in a bus garage and still behind the wheel of the vehicle after she had dropped the students off. She now faces several charges, including 5 counts of violating a Child Protection Act known as Leander's Law, for operating a vehicle while intoxicated, with passengers under the age of 16.
A 73-year-old woman has been cited with 2 misdemeanors after a buck she raised at her home gored her neighbor. According to authorities, the attack happened on Friday morning when the neighbor was out walking her dog and noticed that the deer was following her. The animal then knocked the woman to the ground and began to attack her with its antlers, leaving her with several wounds to her head, cheek, and legs. The attack continued even as the woman ran and frantically opened her garage door, finally ending when she was able to run between 2 cars in her garage. When police arrived, the deer was still acting aggressively and was euthanized at the scene. The 73-year-old who had been raising the deer admitted that she had taken it into her home as a days-old fawn and had kept it there for more than a year. Her 2 misdemeanor charges for illegal possession and feeding of wildlife carry fines totaling almost $1,100. Police handed the deer's body over to Colorado Parks and Wildlife authorities to test it for rabies and other diseases.
Toronto police announced this week that the 36-year-old murder case of Christine Jessup has finally been solved. Investigators say that DNA found on Jessup's underwear was identified on October 9th as belonging to a man named Calvin Hoover. Hoover was a former friend of the Jessup family who committed suicide a few years ago. 9-year-old Christine Jessup disappeared on October 3rd, 1984 in Queensville, Ontario. She had last been seen buying a pack of gum at a local convenience store. Her remains were found 3 months later on New Year's Eve in a rural part of Durham region. She had been sexually assaulted and murdered. The case drew national media attention not only for its brutality, but for the wrongful conviction of one of the Jessup's neighbors, Guy Paul Morin. Morin was exonerated by DNA evidence in 1995, but the case had remained unsolved until now. That's it for this edition of Crimes of the Week. As always, if you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Thank you for watching.